Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at comp. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so looking at comp, we have price history here from June 2020. So we're just going to go over some of the potential big accounts here, and then what we are going to do is actually go over the smaller internal counts of this in a second. So the way that I'm currently looking at this is in two ways. So that we could have this move as either a bigger W and X, and we're looking for this as an ABC. Now we could potentially argue that within the structure, we could actually have a C wave completed here, where we look at something like this as a diagonal pattern to the downside here, looking to complete the C wave. However, I don't really like the internals of this, so I am still being just cautious that if we do fail to actually break above this 116.45, we could actually just see this move actually be a flat correction here, and then we might actually look to break down one more time. So if we were looking for that potential of actually looking to break down here one more time, what we'd actually be looking for would be the potential to come down towards this Y wave 1-to-1, which is here at this 1775. As well as that, we do have the blue wave count. That 1-to-1 is down here at this 1086. So if we do have this as a flat correction here, potentially what we could see is still another 5-wave move to the downside. So the minimum requirement I'll be looking off of our current level would actually be this 2227. What we'd want to see for this as a C wave is 5 waves to the downside, and preferably looking to break this A wave low here. So this 0.618 would be an interesting level, and then this 1-to-1 as well as a possible target. So that's looking for that downside potential. However, we could also argue, like I said, even though I don't like the internals here, we could argue that this completes here, and then we could be starting at least a different structure to the upside here. Now, if we are looking at this in a different way, what we could also argue is that within this count, we could have this as a bigger 5-wave move, where this is 1, 2, 3 into here, 4 and 5 into this low, in which case what we could actually be getting here is a B wave to the upside. Now this B wave could potentially move up anywhere from this 0.236, which we've already hit. Now this is a very rare target. We do have a more rare target, but not as rare as this 236 at this 382. And then the typical zone we actually look for is this 50% to the 786. So that's between this 157 to this 429 level. So even if we do see this move up in a flat where this becomes ABC, what we could get is 3 waves down, holding this low, and then potentially looking for an additional leg to the upside here if we are looking at this as a B wave. Alternatively, like I said, if we are looking at this as a beginning move here, this could actually turn into a 5-wave move and actually look to push us past this 0.786. But I'd like to get back above there for more confirmation that we aren't, within this B wave still. So we're gonna have to just monitor the internal structure. Okay, so we're gonna go into that now. It is possible that this whole structure here could be a flat, where this is A, this is B, and then we're looking for a C. Now the typical target area we're looking for is this 99.43 to the 70.65 area. So if we do see this push up into this region, we've already come and hit this 1.236 at this 70.65. So if we do start to reject down directly from this point, potentially we could have actually looked to complete here. Though my count is actually saying that we could potentially still see an additional 4th and a 5th. So I'll be keeping an eye on these higher targets if we do actually look to continue up here, this 99.43 to this 80.51. If we do complete this as a flat, like I said, we could actually find support lower down here between this 4.846 and this 3.242 before looking for that possibility of continuation to the upside, looking at this as a 1-to-1 target at this 146. But this would mean that we'd have a bigger break down here, looking to retest this target box, and then potentially looking for this C wave to the upside. If we do, obviously I'm going to be keeping an eye on this swing high here, because this is going to be an interesting level. But then we also do have this horizontal potential resistance here at this 110 zone, so going to be keeping an eye on that. Obviously we do have that $100 level is going to be important as a psychological level, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that as we actually progress. Now if we are looking at this as a C wave, there is 2 ways that I'm currently looking at this. So we're going to go over the idea that this is a regular impulse, where we could argue that within here we have this is 1, 2, and then what we have here is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're looking for a 5th wave here. So this would be a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for that wave 3, and then now what we're looking for is the potential for a 4th wave. So this idea is invalidated by crossing this wave 1, which would be this 43.60. If we fail to actually do so and we find support here in the zone of the 61.26 to this 50.57, what we could see is a 3-wave move to the downside here, looking to retest this previous 4th wave area before seeing another 5-wave move to the upside. Now this 5th wave target would actually be this 82.67 to the 75.08 region, and then we'd be looking for the potential that we could still have additional legs here where we get an additional 4th and a 5th. Now if we do complete the yellow count here, what we'll be watching as a possible support zone will be this 57.01 to this 45.56. If we do manage to hold support in this zone again in the previous 4th wave areas, what we'd actually be looking for is that additional 5th wave up here, looking to bring us up into this 94.90 to this 84.15 level. Now if I overlay this flat idea, what we can see is that that would actually look to push us up into this region of this target box. And if we do extend out slightly here, like I said, that $100 level is going to be quite an interesting zone if we do actually manage to push up into it. It would align with coming into this 1.618 as well. Okay, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. The idea here is that if we have this as a flat correction where this is our C wave, then confirmation is going to come by having additional structure to the downside and breaking this low. If we fail to actually break this low and we find support again in this 45.27 to this $30.94, what we could actually see is price come back down here in 3 waves, and then we could see continuation to the upside where we actually treat this as just either an A, a B, and a C if it's just going to be a corrective structure to the upside. But if price starts to move up more aggressively and we actually see this hit this 336 level, what we could actually have here is then a 3rd wave where we'd be then looking for a 4th and a 5th, which could actually look to push us up towards this 560 to this 408 region, and that would be looking for this possibility of actually extending out in a bigger 5-wave move. So we need to be careful. Like I said, if we complete this as a 5-wave move and we actually break down below this low point here, effectively we cannot extend out in that 5-wave structure anymore, and it would be more likely that we're looking for that C wave to the downside. Now the other way we can look at this is potentially as a diagonal pattern. Now within this as a diagonal pattern, what we'd be arguing is instead of having this move as 1 into here, this is a 2, and then this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what we'd be looking at is this is A, B, C for 1. This would be our wave 2. We'd have A, B, C for 3. This is wave 4. We'd have A. We're looking for B, and then we're looking for C here. So if I come in closer here on the 1 hourly, what we can see is that we have this area of invalidation. So this $50.86 is going to be our invalidation point. What we want to see here is effectively a 3-wave move to the downside, looking to target out this region here of the $60 to this 54.69. If we just see a 3-wave move that comes back into this region, this 0.618 is going to be particularly interesting to me because this would align with coming back into this trend line. So I'm going to keep an eye on that and see if we actually get that interaction. And then what we'd be looking for confirmation of this would be another 3-wave move to the upside. Now, based off of coming back down here into this 50%, that one-to-one would be this 83.34. If we came down towards this 618, it would be this $80 region. Now, the key thing here is that this is going to adjust depending on how deep we come here, but we don't want to lose this $50.86, and what we can't do is actually move up higher than this $86.26. If we do move up higher than this $86.26, this would invalidate our count because this 5th wave is not allowed to be longer than the 3rd wave. So this is that 1-to-1 level. Obviously this is based off of this low here, so this doesn't move, but this internal structure, these targets can change. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this. We want to see this come down in 3 waves, then get 5-wave move to the upside, looking to target out somewhere between this 83.34 and this 73.47. But like I said, this target will actually change depending on how deep we go here. As with the other count, the idea would be the same here. If we get a diagonal to the upside like this could be that C wave, in which case we get a breakdown, take this low, confirm this as a flat. Alternatively, if we do look to complete in this region, we could see 3 waves down, looking to find support in this 44 to this $30.58 before continuation to the upside. Now, 1-to-1 would be here at this 114 level off that 0.618 level, and then if we do actually move higher, we could potentially turn into a 5-wave move if we start to push up past this 227.62 level. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this, we're looking for that bullish case. We need to hold this low, need to hold this support zone, and ideally I'd like to see either this develop another 5-wave move up within this count, or actually to develop a series of 4ths and 5ths up within this count. Because if we don't do that, what we could actually just have here is that this could just be a corrective move to the upside. Now, if this is a corrective move, we could just have this as A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if this is the case and we just have this as an ABC up, we'd have to just be cautious that from further back here, there isn't something else playing out where we're getting something like a flat to the downside, which could actually still be an option here. Where this becomes A, we get a B wave up, and then we actually see a 5-wave move down. So we need to just be careful that if we only form this as corrective to the upside here, then potentially that could mean we're actually going to come back down here and take these lows again. Okay, so I'm just going to go over the daily CPR here quickly. We can see that we are between these central lines here, which is sitting towards the zone of the 60.49 to this 66.19. So this could be potential resistance if we lose this and then come back up into it. If we do, however, manage to hold this level of this lower CPR line at the 60.72, potentially we could see price be gravitated back to the upside here towards this S1 at this 75.66, S2 83.20, S3 95.61, and S4 103.12. Now, if we do see this actually play to the upside here, this would align with that idea of that extension within these waves where we're looking for those additional 4ths and 5ths. Alternatively, if we do look to push down deeper, we have this R1, which could potentially offer us support towards this 55.99. We have the R2 at this 43.92, the R3 at this 36.06, and this R4 is down here towards this 23.64 region. So if we start to break down in a deeper way here, I'm going to be keeping an eye on these areas as potential pivot points. Now, we do have new weekly CPRs, and what we can see here is that we are between these central lines now. So the higher line here is at this 63.29. We have this 58.11 and this 52.99 region. If we do look to push down here one more time, I'd be looking to see if we find support on this 58.18 level. If we do manage to hold that, then potentially we could see that price reversal to the upside, where we see price get gravitated towards $81. 93.75, or even this 116.66. If, however, we start to lose these central CPR lines, what we could actually see is a retest of this R1 line at this 45.44, and then potentially even a drop to this R2 line at this 22.53, and our R3 line is all the way down here at this $9.80. So doesn't have to move down to these lines, but these are just potential pivot points within the market. Okay, so now if we change this over onto the monthly, what we can see here is that we are currently sitting above the central CPR lines here, and if we do manage to actually hold this zone, we have also moved up to this S1 line. If we do see price come back down here, potentially we could see price come back into these lines. So the higher one here is this 50.93, $50.93, this 46.17, and this 41.29. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on these as potential support points as we come down in this, if we do start to break down in a bigger way. If we do, however, reverse back to the upside and regain this S1 line, what we could potentially see is a push up towards this 82.50, or this area here of this 105.48 as possible target areas to the upside. Now, price can always move through these levels, so we just need to be aware of that, but these are potential pivot points for this month. Alternatively, if we do start to lose these central CPR lines, what we could see is price could actually be gravitated towards this 32.93 as a R1, and this R2 is actually sitting down here towards this $10 area. So need to be careful of this. If we do start to break down in a deeper way, we could actually be looking to actually come down and test some of those levels. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.